have an idea what you can purge first, Hollywood. Can you guess what its logo's? Comcast.
F***ing purge! All the that eats me up.
Purge. Interesting term.
It's really not. It's pretty common. It's like that psychologist in T2 who tells a bunch of colleagues the plot of the first Terminator, and one of them says, "That's original." Way to pat your own back, movie.
Unemployment rising across the nation.
Can't think of a clever or compelling way to give your audience the information you think they need at the beginning of your film? Well, now with News Position, you don't have to. Just throw up some vague split-screen news clips with some reporterish sounding narration, and you're good to go. News Position, for when easy means more to you than excellence. In case you confused it with Staten Island, Gilligan's Island.
If you remain on Staten Island during the experiment, you will receive monetary compensation.
Wouldn't paying the purgers negate the psychological motivations for the purge itself? Why am I already feeling like instead of fleshing out this whole purge concept, the origin story is only going to make it more obvious how ridiculous the whole idea was to begin with?
This is one of a dozen sites being set up across the island.
Jeez, movie. When I made that News Position crack earlier, I didn't realize you were going to go all in on it. We're only 6 minutes into this thing, and this is the third time you've newscasted me across the face. Since it probably won't be the last time, this just in. An extra 35 sins have just shown up in your totals.
The island was chosen because its demographic is a perfect representation.
Movie literally yada yadas the reason why Staten f***ing Island was chosen for this experiment. Something demographics. So is it the most ethnically diverse? Is it the most concentrated group of assholes in the country? Is there a broader spectrum of lower to upper class people?
Walk away from their money!
I don't doubt that there would be massive protests for something like this, but this isn't the kind of thing where by the end of it you look dreamily into the sky and say, if I can just reach one person it'll all be worth it. This is the time you should be spending getting the f*** off the island. Oh man, they dragged poor Marissa Tomei into this, didn't they?
A lot of people have a lot of concerns about this, and one concern comes up over and over again.
Is it free murder? Because it should probably be all the free murder. Why the f*** does all this look so fake? Did the filmmakers go out and shoot B-roll of protesters and then film this interview in front of a green screen?
And I'm the practicing practitioner.
There is no way that razor blade was in his mouth through the entire overacted psychotic psych-out speech. In fact, thanks to the wonders of the pause button, I can prove it.
Point is, we gotta be prepared for anything.
Thanks for this pulsating, strobing reaction shot. I think I just first purged all over the floor.
Let's get through this purge bullshit so we can get back to business as usual.
This is something we've had to say at CinemaSins HQ 4 times now.
What are you doing?
Why else? He's sick of struggling.
Goddamn, this movie really drives home the economic hardships, doesn't it? Like, if you didn't get this point from the news broadcast at the beginning, or the shitty condition of the apartments they live in, or the people participating in the purge for money, you have this scene. How much dead can a deadbeat beat if a deadbeat could beat dead horses?
Now, the purge is one day. You, Dimitri, destroy this community 364 days a year.
Does he skip Christmas? Because since there hasn't been a purge yet, that technically means he's been destroying the community for 365 days a year.
Man, I knew in love years ago had courage and soul. I miss that man.
And I miss the purge movies where I didn't have to sit through 5 minutes of relationship soap opera, just to almost get to where the purging actually starts. Thanks for the countdown clock. The way this movie's gone, I truly hope that's not movie time. Also, the nice thing about this timer is it tells me the exact amount of my time that you're wasting by dedicating a whole screen to this information, instead of just continuing the movie. The answer, by the way, is 9 full seconds. While the movie takes great pains to show the Verrazano Bridge being closed so that people can't escape Staten Island before the purge, it takes absolutely no pains to show us what's going on at the Staten Island ferry, except for a 2-second report about how the last one is leaving. And it is insane that New York City didn't try to extend ferry service or add more to the fleet to get people off the island. Hell, aren't there some boat-owning citizens who'd like to pull off their own Dunkirk and help some people out? Can it please be the end? I'd really love for it to be the end. God damn it, movie. Aside from the fact that this is a cheap Halloween advertisement, when did Isaiah get his hands on a 2018 Halloween poster? I distinctly remember a Purge feed showing me a date of March 21st, 2017 in Jacksonville, Florida. Halloween was just a twinkle in Danny McBride's balls back then. This Halloween poster is a lie. Also, remember the First Purge? You know, not the name of this movie, but the actual first movie. Thanks for that, by the way. Every time I refer to the First Purge, I'm now going to have to say, you know, the first movie, not the fourth one that was a prequel that was called the First Purge. Anyway, where was I?
All crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours.
Do you really need the including murder part? I mean, aren't there other specifically gruesome crimes that you might as well mention too? You know, like Michael Bay movies? Also, what about crimes like kidnapping? If you take someone else's kid during the purge, is it just Purgers Keepers?
Skeletor's purge is on.
Oh, for the love of melodrama. The thing that these movies never seem to understand is that you don't actually need people like Needle Reen here to make it scary. The concept is actually scary enough, and strong enough on its own, without mucking it all up with this over-the-top psycho killer nonsense. Also, I would remove 1,000 sins if this was a secret He-Man movie, and it was about Skeletor purging all of He-Man's friends, especially Orko. F***ing Orko. Why are all of these bull contact lens recorders different colors? Is there a reason this guy has green ones, other than the art director decided it would look cool? Also, what is up with the super advanced technology? If this is the first Purge, why does the technology seem to go backwards in the future events? In the continuing saga of making the tech look cool instead of realistic, why would the video feed from the contacts look like this? Why would the camera pick up any of the glowing mechanics of the contact? Is it somehow shooting from behind them? Where is camera? Also, why do they wear two of them in the first place? Unless they're somehow using 3D imaging, one contact would shoot what they are seeing just fine.
We believe that this is the first Purge of the evening.
Because despite the massive scale of this operation, one of us just happened to be watching it. Also, Purge credits. Nice try, but Skeletor clearly waited a beat before stabbing this ATM thief. He didn't go right up to him and stab him immediately. Skeletor believes in maximum jump scares before he kills anyone.
The 23rd Psalm says, although I walk through the valley in the shadow of death.
Actually, it says through the valley of the shadow of death, not in. I'm not saying everyone would quote it right. I'm just saying this pastor probably would.
That tastes like old man ass. Don't ask me, I know.
You just told us, right? Yeah, so I know it's the first Purge and all, and there are no rules here, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that these ladies failed hard at purging. I'm glad they're getting a kick out of the teddy bear fireworks gauntlet, but I give their efforts a solid F. Well, they finally did it. Universal combined the Fast and Furious with the Purge. Can't wait to see Tyrese earn his Purge paycheck. I've got to ask, why Galatians 5:16? That passage only refers to the desires of the flesh, which is the Bible's way of saying don't have sex, it's way, way too fun. The passage immediately before this one, Galatians 5:15, makes the most sense. But if you bite and devour one another, watch out that you are not consumed by one another.
It's the first kill of the night. 20 million views already.
Where does it f***ing say this video got 20 million views? And according to the description, it got published 9 minutes ago. There's no way it got 20 million views already. Also, why does this app have the video rotated for landscape when the rest of the app's functions are in portrait?
But I'm out. I'm gonna go find that psycho.
How on earth in the split second that he saw that video with only a POV shot did he identify Skeletor? Even if the movie isn't saying that, it sequences it that way. And we reserve the right to sin that. What the hell's with the brief blackout here? For a minute there, I thought it was the failing electricity bailing Dimitri out at the last minute, but it's just the movie blacking out. Probably because it's had enough of this too. Also, why didn't the assassins wait until they started sexing him to try this? And why knives? Surely if they snuck in knives, they'd have snuck in guns too. So far, this has been an even-handed broadcast, but for no reason at all, the crawl at the bottom of the screen says, "A great day in America," with zero context. Dark much movie? Half of these scenes are basically just black screens. We get it, the glowy contact thingies look cool in the dark. Do you mind if we occasionally see what's going on?
Where are you? Okay, I'm on my way.
This is where Isaiah is right now. So what did he tell her? I'm in some random warehouse? You know the one? Oh, fire. Perhaps the biggest sin of this whole Purgequel is that none of this feels remotely interesting. We are more than halfway into this thing, and every crime that's being committed feels like it could have been in any other crime movie ever. Drug lords trying to take each other out, a psycho killer on the loose. We've seen it all before. What does any of this have to do with the philosophical or, hell, practical consequences of this experiment? And yes, I know they dip into the government conspiracy stuff later, but all those conversations take place in about 10 minutes and 2 scenes. The majority is just some sort of neutered diehard of the Lambs 2 society. Man, if anything can be proven by this first Purge experiment, it's that people are ridiculously patient. These people decided to waste all their time underneath the street waiting for somebody to walk by for what must have been hours to pull off this complex trapdoor spider.
Grab him, motherfucker!
It's funny because it's true. Skeletor slices Naya's throat about halfway, and then we see Isaiah run towards him, giving Skeletor 2 extra seconds of throat slicing that will somehow not kill her as this movie enters its 3rd hour. You say it's only been 48 minutes? Well,
Data suggests that this socioeconomic group is not reacting the way that I predicted.
Oh yes, let's bring data and statistics into this overwrought metaphor for moral decay. That should liven it right up.
Almost got yourself killed? Oh, are we gonna talk or what?
Here? Now? Why would you talk out here in open Purge season instead of finding somewhere a little safer to hash out your trust issues?
I've been down this road before and I saw a way out.
Skip! This guy wasn't all that serious about the Purge Ex Machina. Tailgating, totally legal for one night only. Get your tailgating in before time's up, people. I'd love to know how these mercenaries knew how to aim the flaming ice cream truck to hit cars that just happen to be driving by.
Purgers everywhere, especially in low-income areas.
All data supported early violent behavior and then a downturn.
What data? Did you have some trial purges before we got the first experiment? And what would it matter if they started earlier or later anyway? What kind of bull line is this?
What is it? Mercs. So these f***ers overseas after I enlisted.
Sure is awesome Dimitri's got a lieutenant in his drug gang who just happens to be in the military to give us much needed exposition about mercenaries. If I didn't forgive you when I couldn't see anything on the screen outside at night, I sure as hell am not forgiving you for the fact that these people are working in complete darkness indoors. Movie stubbornly refuses to be illuminating in any way whatsoever.
You're sending soldiers into the island disguised as gangs as citizens.
Scientist who works for a clearly evil government is shocked that her resident G-Man would goose the Purge purge results to make purging more viable. Also, once you find out something like this, wouldn't you want to keep it to yourself? Do you think an evil government's going to leave you alive once you tell them that you know their dirty secret? A secret, by the way, that is no more or less evil than coming up with the purge in the first place.
What have I done?
The movie accidentally includes Marissa Tomei's first words after signing on for this film as part of the script. Dimitri grieves for a dead guy, but I don't know why I should care. I mean, this is the kid he gave basketball pointers to 45 minutes ago, but he ranks barely above the guy who dressed up as Santa for Bella in Twilight on my give-a-f-a-meter. While these people run down the street and try to find safety, here's a guy with a flamethrower burning a random guy falling down some steps. It has nothing to do with the characters we're following, but aren't you happy you could see at least one asshole get burnt the f*** up? Seriously, I just want to know how these people got fired up to purge tonight, but found the patience to hide out in places where very few people would dare to come close.
And make that footage disappear.
Like, why did you even need to kill her this way in the first place? You could have witnessed her death anywhere, and it wouldn't have required this camera. Also, what an unceremonious end to Marissa Tomei's character. She deserves way more than this. I mean, this might be the stand-in for Marissa Tomei in the footage. That's how unceremonious this is.
We're safe.
For now.
One character says something and another follows it up with "for now" cliché. Dimitri and his crew throw smoke grenades at the mercenaries, clouding the area so that they can't see. But apparently Dimitri's gang are experts at finding and killing people in a smoke cloud, as if they're from the planet Marlboro. One thing you may not realize about smoke and fog is that it has no effect on dimming the color red, apparently. Isn't blood landing on the camera lens the same as breaking the fourth wall? Is no one else distracted by the fact that there shouldn't even be a camera lens there to land on? No one? Just me? Fine, but I'm still sending that bullshit because I made a YouTube channel, and damn it, I'm gonna use it.
Proceed to housing project towers on Main and Bay.
Naya. But how does he even know that Naya is there? Last he knew, they were still hanging at the church, right? These drones picked this time to blow away a whole bunch of people, and then are never heard from again. What's the point of sending mercenaries into a situation if you can just drone the shit out of large groups of people like this? And at least bring them back into the story somehow. Where the f did those things go during the other 3 movies? Also, this is just too much of a risk for the government. In this day and age of capturing video, any number of assholes could be shooting footage of this right now, and exposing the NFFA with a simple upload to YouTube, and maybe Vimeo if they're really serious about the craft.
They're gonna move from floor to floor, killing as many as they can, okay?
Why are the Park Hill Towers such a coveted kill zone for the mercenaries? Why is a mass murder here so important for the results of the purge? Doesn't killing people in this manner suggest more than average citizens getting pissed off and unleashing their anger? We know Dimitri is strong, for sure. After all, we saw him running on a treadmill earlier. But he's got like actual Jason Bourne type skills that I didn't realize a life of drug dealing could account for. This mercenary he's choking is spending his evening by killing low-income minorities for population control while wearing a mask representing blackface. This asshole may have achieved maximum racism. Guess we aren't worried about any kind of subtlety here, are we? These well-trained military dudes decide to wait in the hallway like sitting ducks, letting Dimitri mow them down like they've never trained for this situation before. Guess I won't be needing this anymore. Also, is this someone I'm supposed to know from the other movies? Is he a Purge legacy? Is this series so predictable at this point that there will be a movie called Purge Legacy?
What the hell is all this? We having a f***ing barbecue or something?
I know comic relief has to comic relief and all, but when you're hiding from some sort of future government Nazi death squad, maybe don't do it so loudly.
I'ma shoot low, their legs. Isaiah, you jump in and finish them off with a knife.
This works.
All clear to the left. Clear on right.
These guys just busted down a door with 2 tables and a mattress in front of it. And yet, they don't think there's anybody in here? Did these mercs get their training from an online course? While Dimitri prepares the C4 to blow up these stupid-ass mercenary guys, I'm now wondering, what the f are these guys even shooting at right now? They're firing toward the open doorway, but not the walls. And if we've heard one thing in this movie, it's that this apartment complex is a piece of shit. So those walls should be easy to fire through. Objects in mirror are closer than they actually are. Also, are they shooting at the mirror that is in plain sight? They can't hit, can they? After one of the mercs says, "Light 'em up," which is a direct order to fire now, another 10 seconds goes by while they wait for Skeletor to show up and stab them to death. Skeletor, whom the movie forgot for 30 minutes, finally arrives to the apartment complex to kill Naya and Isaiah, after apparently wandering the streets looking for them in other places that were not the apartment. Good thing too, because he serves as an ironic ex machina the heroes badly needed to survive the day. Despite the fact that Dimitri, a one-man wrecking crew, is lying in wait in front of them, and they could easily just shoot the rockets and kill him now, the entire mercenary crew focuses their attention on Skeletor because, you know, he has a knife. Naya! Dimitri tackles Naya and is able to drag a mattress over them to protect them from the fire. Wait, what? Not to mention, I don't care how strong you are, you're not grabbing a mattress by one hand and giving yourself cover at the speed of that explosion.
Jesus Christ.
It's not on my blood.
Who cares if all that blood isn't yours? You got shot in the stomach, but we know your abs are practically bulletproof, so none of it hardly matters.
It's over?
For now.
One character says something and another character follows it up with, wait.
So what do we do now?
Now, we fight.
And because of their sacrifice, determination, and first-hand testimony, the Purge was abolished and never happened again. Man, I love happy endings. This is how the first Purge ends, giving us no real insight into how from this one experiment the Purge was sanctioned throughout the country. It just ends, which I'm very happy with. But I thought the point of this movie was to show us why the government thought this was a success, aside from all the deaths. This dude shows back up again, but he has nothing interesting to say other than they'll be studying the results. What the f*** was this movie?
Girlfriends barfed on boyfriends. Kids barfed on their parents. A fat lady barfed in her purse.
What do you do when you get angry?
I'm pipe up.
I'm on drugs!
Oh, bother.
You ain't talking, but you telling me everything.
What we got here is a little game of show and tell. You don't want to show me nothing, but you're telling me everything.
And listen, we wanted Dimitri's top corners because we keep moving.
WMD, right chair, right chair.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
When I open the trunk, you pop up and rack this motherfucker.
There's only 5 bullets in here. It beats a damn spatula.
My, where did you get that lovely spatula?
Well, you got protests all over the place now.
Marissa Tomei loves funny, quirky, bold men.
And 6 months ago, when Doug introduced me to you guys, I thought I just added 2 more guys to my wolf pack.
All right.